in the hunting club.
Mm-hmm.
They're all like in their 60s now. So nobody really comes. They don't get to over as much. And the gorge that's coming in there on the left is Little Bear, and then there's another one that comes in called Big Bear, and they're both.
That's right where the one-lane bridge is, right?
No,
Up
that's
there?
just like right there.
Oh, okay.
Where the one-lane bridge is I remember when the creek comes in right there. But that where the one-lane bridge is over Middleport Cottonwood Creek.
Right.
Yeah, it's nice and quiet out here.
Hmm.
Look for gold, but the former owner, that guy Ron, he was way into looking for gold. So he had a full collection of gold and platinum nuggets that he pulled out of the creek here.
Platinum, wow. That's cool.
Well, that's how Patina got its name. There used to be a big platinum mine up there.
That makes sense. Around what time do you guys usually like to have the facility all buttoned up, ready to spin?
Usually start like paying attention to the weather and stuff in like October. And what's kind of nice about it is like it seems like we'll get one good rain, and that just sort of like is like a cue that to get ready, because what happens is the ground is so dry that it basically just works like a sponge. So the first few rains you won't get much production out of because they're sort of recharging the soil.
Right.
And what's really nice, some years, like you'll get really heavy rain that'll flash. You see how like there's all these leaves and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't even turn on for that first storm. You just let it open up the radial gate and flush it all through.
Right.
So that way it doesn't all collect in your forebay and you don't fight it all season long. So yeah, when there's the first big storm, I don't get too excited about racing up here to generate. I mean, if it's really big, I do, but most years we just let it kind of flush the system and then go up, close the gate, fill the reservoir, and once the creek gets to about 15 CFS, that's when I think about turning on.
Alright.
And like last year, it rained a few times in the fall, I think it was September, but it only came up to like 5 CFS. And then as far as fish surveys, like, did you read that Article 31 of the license?
There's a PDF online that covers a couple turbines in the area in regards to USGS and Fish and Game. And they talk about how they've only seen 2 fish use the fish ladder.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the same one.
Yeah, that's Article 31. Anyway, basically what happens, it's crazy that they do it, but because there's never been a salmon up here, but there's storm, huh? There's potential for salmon to move into the area. Like, there's no physical barrier downstream of here.
Right.
There's no waterfall that they couldn't get up. So what Game and Fish recommended is a monitor the December flows, and if the December mean flows average greater than 50 CFS, January, we'll do December 2012. That's confusing me. So you can see in December we had some big storms where the bypass flow went way up.
Yeah.
And then the turbine went offline because there was just too much debris coming down.
Huh.
And I think this was a shut off because the kilowatts were getting so low. And then it stormed.
A PG&E shut off?
No, that was like low flow shut off.
Okay.
So that's what I was talking about. Like, those first few storms of the season, the kilowatts will drop off way faster. Whereas later in the season, like, you can see that curve versus this curve is way shallower.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's even steeper. And so you'll fight it a little bit at the first part of the generating season. And the best storms are like if you get a big snow in like early March, and then it just melts. It just runs, like perfect. Sometimes it'll run at 110 CFS for a month straight.
Oh man.
That's when you can really generate a lot, because you'll just, and the water's clear, you won't fight it. But like, okay, 51,000 bypass Q. I'm pretty sure the average for the month of December this year was 51 CFS. So that triggered Andromeda's fish survey. So Jeff and I came up and snorkeled in the creek in January, February, March, and April. You just have to do it one day in each month.
Mm-hmm.
And we only saw 2 frogs and 13 turtles on the log boom. There was no fish at all. But if you ever saw a salmon or a steelhead, you'd have to report it to the Fish and Game, and then they would be able to reevaluate necessary in-stream flows.
Interesting.
So that's what you have to do with them. You want to go look at the reservoir and
Sure.
and was there station power last time you were here? Like were the lights working and stuff?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, because this is the other thing I do to save energy. I got this hot stick,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a 40-foot telescoping hot stick.
Right, and you just...
So you see those three big
Right.
cutouts? They're all open and down.
That's funny.
And to get station power, what you do is you go up to the next pole, unlock the gang switch, open it up, and then come down here and
Pop those up.
slam them in, and then throw the gang switch, and you've got station power again. But
Nice. I'm subscribed to a guy on YouTube who has a 500 kilowatt. It's a much older facility. It's based on a big horizontal propeller and a big splash box on top of it. But anyway, he was having to do that. He documented the entire process of rebuilding his site.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, Don Jackman
Where's
on
he
YouTube.
out
Not sure exactly. I don't want to suggest anything because he's probably going to watch this.
Well, yeah, I was getting like $350 a month of a bill from PG&E for the summer months that I wasn't generating because it was like, the most expensive time for them
To provide the power.
to provide the power because everybody's running their AC.
Right.
So you have to keep the transformers hot. So that's why I put that solar array on the roof. Then I can still call in, and have the computer on, because the computer can tell me, the stream flow, the reservoir level, and that's how you know when to come up here in the fall, is you start calling in and seeing where the stream's at. I don't know how much truth to it is. Ron told me when he had his cabin appraised a few years ago, they said that there was $300,000 worth of timber on this hill, but no way to get it out, so I don't know. Yeah, so through here, the property line is actually like 15 feet the other side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you wanted to, you could come down here and hold up, make the road wider.
Right.
I always thought, if you did want to buy the cabin, building an operator cabin right here on the
Mm-hmm. But he wants to go through the real estate market with the cabin, right?
Um,
I mean, I've seen it listed already, but I'm just wondering how motivated you guys are to keep the two properties together.
well, I mean, that's kind of his decision. um, they work really well together. You know, they were 240s that got split when I bought the thing from him, because at the time he didn't want to sell the cabin.
Right.
So I think he's pretty motivated. And I think the realtor that's listing it is like a buddy of his. So if you wanted to make him a deal, I'm sure they could work something out.
Alright. That's good to know. That's a rattler right there.
Good boy.
Nice.
Nice green one.
See you later.
You know it. I think last year when he was thinking about selling it, he said something like he offered to sell it to me at $150,000. But at that point, I was already involved with my other project up in Washington and couldn't afford to put any money into here. And in hindsight, like, I wish I had bought the cabin, because in the winter when there's 8 inches of snow on the ground and you're up here tinkering with the power plant, it's really nice to go sit by the fire and dry out.
Yeah.
Take a hot shower or whatever. And what I've been doing too is renting the cabin from him. Like, if I'm going to be out here for a few weeks, I'll just call up and rent it from him.
I see.
But I don't know how long he would.
I gotta start
temporary.
talking to him, I guess. Cause yeah, he's got it listed for, oh, I forget. But 150,000 might be able to swing that somehow.
So this is the air intake
Standpipe.
Basically. If you don't have a way to get air into your penstock, you run the risk of flattening it.
Oh wow, from the vacuum?
Yeah.
Damn.
Like,
That's
if this penstock was full and there's no air intake, and somebody opened the gate down there and just pancake this whole pipe, just start right at the top, and there's a
that's super impressive.
Pacificor project online that some operator, that what had happened is they had a problem with the standpipe, so they were working on it, and they put something over it to cover it so nothing got in there while they were.
Oh my goodness.
And anyway, then the intake screens plugged up, and it was like 2 miles of penstock that got flattened.
Jesus. That's insanity.
And
Yeah, when I was here last, this was all flowing.
yeah. What I've always wanted to do is come in here, like now while the water's low, and build a big sluice box right here
Oh boy.
to try and catch gold when it comes through.
That would be cool. I don't know much about that kind of stuff.
So if you're operating this plant, one thing you got to be careful of, like, see how there's, like, so this over the winter, during the generating season, the gravel moves down and settles here, and so like this was probably this deep in gravel, clear back to, you can kind of see the old line.
Yeah.
And what happens is if you just try and close the gate, this rubber
you don't want
to will hit the gravel, so you gotta like kind of build up some water in the reservoir and then open it and let it like flush it, like, so that there's, and you'll be able to see. So sometimes you have to like open and close the gate at the bottom end just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's easier to keep them up here. Here, come check this out. There's a but anyway, there's a rubber like this on the top end, and that has to seal flat against the top wall. But what ends up happening is if you don't, if it's like too dry, it sticks to the concrete. So
I see. Yeah.
And what happens is it actually rolls up on here, and then you can't get the gate closed. So see, like last year I trimmed it, like in these two areas that was really sticking. And what Dan and I have been doing is just putting like petroleum jelly all along this edge right before you close it. So like the first time you close it, lubricate this edge so that when it hits the concrete down there, it won't stick and roll, it'll slide.
Gotcha.
And I use that hydraulic bottle jack to kind of close it. The last half inch is pretty stiff. Sometimes this hydraulic doesn't work well enough to actually close it. So you put this board on top of the gate and then put the jack between that brace and the board and finish the last half inch or so.
I gotcha.
And then that rope's on there so that when there's 100 CFS going through here, you don't drop the jack and never see it again, which I've done like twice. Yeah, this reservoir is pretty nice in like May and June when there's clear water flowing. Come down here, go for a swim. This is an emergency gate open, like if you didn't have power, you can still get the gate open.
Right.
You just have to pull the pins on the hydraulic. So this ram isn't quite long enough. It's like a gate that has to move like 6 feet, and the ram's only 4 feet. So what you do is you extend the ram all the way, so it goes all the way out, and it pushes the gate like halfway down, and then you retract the ram, and you pull these pins, And
Okay.
then this bar
Oh,
slides
I got it.
closer, and then you put them
I
in
understand.
either these holes or these holes, and then push the ram out again, and you can close it all the way.
I gotcha. See, I was thinking you attach it somehow there and just unbolt it, but I see now that this slides.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's a little bit of a funky design, but it works. And there's all the hoses for the air cleaning system coming in.
How well does that work?
It works well. I think there's definitely more efficient